Alright guys, so here is how I set up a customer service chatbot for banks, right? So first of all, let me run this and then we can try it out, right? So the cool thing about this is that you can fine tune it to your specific bank by giving it a large knowledge base, right? So for example, if I ask it, let's say, how do I sign up? How do I sign up? Right, so I'm glad you're interested in opening an account with us. Sign up for Anis Bank. So this is just the name I give it, right? It's a straightforward process. Here is the steps and guides to help you, right? Visit the website and click on register. Fill up the online application form with your basic information such as name, email, username, right? Method to use. So this is giving me like a detailed information on how I can sign up, right, with the bank. I think I can. What I have to do here is I have to do right. So that does it. So this chatbot, what it does is that it pulls a knowledge base, right? So it pulls a knowledge base from maybe documentation that explains different issues and solutions in your bank, right? And then from this information now is able to like know how to answer um, the user when the user has a query, right? So for example, the user comes to your bank website and wants to register. Say it says, how do I create a bank account, right? So user asks those questions, and this is able to help you to explain how to create a bank account. So maybe to help you open an account with Anis Bank. So I just give it a name, right? To create a new bank account, follow the instruction, visit the website and click on opening account. Choose your account type. We offer various type of accounts such as basic savings, student savings, business, right? So it's giving it like detailed information. And the thing is that the good part is that some of these informations are not even like the information is from the data, the knowledge base, but then it's able to like give it its own context, right? So that's how it is. So it gives you all these information. Prefer your open online person require assistance due to language barrier, please let me know, right? So it's very very self like, you know, very very smooth. So let's say I'm able to create the account and I said, how do I make my first deposit, right? So how do I make my first deposit, and then it's able to tell me making your first deposit is great stage in setting up your new account with us. To make your first deposit, you can follow this: log into your online banking, go to the website and mobile app, log into your account using username, password, click on deposit, right? So this is really really like, you know, good. So in the case where you might take like a long time for customer service representatives to respond, right? So users are able to give like fine-tuned feedback based on the questions they ask, right? So it's not like getting links to doc to go and read up, right? The bot is able to like give them appropriate information based on the query. So yeah, so this is very like really really friendly. So I can even say um, I want to view all, or maybe uh, send me my bank statement, right? So I'll be happy to help with your direct access to retrieve your bank statements. Okay, making your first deposit. Before I proceed, please confirm which option works for you. Log into your bank, go to the website. I'll be happy to help you open your bank account. Let me access it. How do I get my bank statements? I get my bank statements. Okay, I'll be happy to help you to obtain your bank statements. This thing is long. You need to log into blah 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 blah. Okay, so this is cutting it. So let me first stop this first and then run it again. So how do I get my bounce statements? So how do I get my bounce statements? So I'm happy to update your bounce statements. Follow online banking, log into the app, and then log in. Or if you have a bank app, install it. So this gives you a more detailed information on how to get your bank statements right instantly. All right, so yeah, so just this is just it. So this is like customer service AI powered chatbot that can respond to user query with very good precisions, right? By getting a knowledge base from a vector database, right? So this is just a demo of it. And to implement this, what I did was that I use Ollama, which is a tool for running open source LLM locally. Which, um, if you want to run it, so you can just go to you can just search for Ollama.com. So you go to the website and then download it. So depending on which machine you're using, you download it based on your machine, right? So after that, the next thing I'm using is once you install Ollama, right? Once you download and install Ollama, then is going to create a command line interface. So the command line interface, right? And so we're using specific models. So once we're using model to create embeddings, right? Which I won't be able to go deep at this point, right? So what the embedding does is that it takes your text files and then convert it to embedding formats, right? It takes your text and converts to embedding format, which is like some integers, right? And then that's how it stores it on the vector database, right? So there are paid models that do the job, like OpenAI models, right? But I'm sticking with the open source one since it's free, because other ones are paid. So I'm using MX embedding large model, right, which is still in this Ollama website, right? So if you search it, you likely see it, right? Yeah. So the way you do it is once you install the Ollama, and then you have the Ollama I think so to install this, all you need to do is Ollama pull and then specify the model. So I already have the model on my PC, so I don't need to pull it again. And then so you pull in the embedding model from Ollama site, and also pull in a Llama model, 2.3 model. So do the same Ollama pull, then you specify the model. So that's going to pull in those models. So if I do Ollama list, it's going to list out the two models that I've pulled. This and these two, right? So that's it. So if first you install the Ollama, and then you pull those data into your Ollama application, and then you install requirements, because you need LanceDB Python, you need Ollama Python, and then pandas, right? So that's it. So once you're done with that, you need to also you need to download the knowledge base, right? So I use a data set from Hugging Face. So I use this BTEX Retail Banking LM, because it's a data set that um, contains customer service kind of queries, right? So if you look through data, you're going to see it. So I would like to activate my card. I have to activate. So it contains customer service data, right, and the possible response aggregate. So that's why I use this data set, because it best suits what I wanted to achieve. And after doing that, what next? So I downloaded the data and then pass it here. So once everything is set up, I imported Ollama, pandas, and then LanceDB, and then length model, vector, embedding. So I imported all this, right? Then once I'm done with this, I pull in the data into a data frame using pandas. Right, since I've downloaded the data here, pull it to a data frame using pandas, and then you can just check out the data. So it contains tag, instructions, category, intent, respond, right? And then I get an instance of the embedding registry, and then from there I specify that I want to use Ollama, and I want to use this model, open source model, right? So that gives me an embedder. And next thing, I specify a schema. This is a pandatic schema, so this is just like Ollama length um, based model, right? So it has its own features. So that's it. So I create a class that inherits from length model, and then specify my fields. So all these fields are what we have here on the data set, right? So you see tag, instruction, category, intent, and response. So you see instruction, category, intent, response, and tag. Now an extra field you add is the vector. So when I create a Ollama is a vector database, right? And so the way it works is that you have your data, right? You cut it into chunks. In our own case, we are using CSV, so that means the data is already in chunks. So we convert the data into embedding and then store it in the vector database, which is LanceDB, right? After we store the data in the vector database, right, we can now make queries to the vector database, which is going to give us results based on the query that is coming in. We get this result, send it to the LLM model, right, and then send the query to the LLM model. So the LLM model is going to use the result that is coming from a vector database as reference and know how to answer the user. So that's how it works, right? So yeah, so after specifying this schema, you specify which field you want to use to convert to create the embeddings from, right? So I specify I want to use the instruction field from the data sets, create the embeddings, and I add an extra field. This field doesn't exist on the data set we observe. So this field is just specifying which field the embedding is going to be stored in, and this schema is going to be passed into the LanceDB. So the LanceDB now, once you install the Python LanceDB, you don't need to install any other tool because it's similar to like SQLite, right? So it's going to create a folder, like as you can see, it creates this folder where it's going to store the data, right? So I connect to the LanceDB, and then I create a table called query, and then I pass in this schema that I created, Pydantic schema, so that it knows the schema to create the table with. And then I specify mode override, so that even if the table was created, it's going to override it, because I don't want to like this is just like demo, right? So once I'm done with that, it's going to give me the table, and after that, since I've pulled in the data into the data frame, I can now use it from here, and then say add all the data in the data frame into the table, right? So this takes time. As you can see, it took 16 minutes, so that's why I don't want to run it again, right? So once you run it, it's going to add all the data. It's going to pull all the data and then pass it to the table, and the table is going to use the embeddings, right? So the table is going to use the embeddings to transform this into embeddings, and then store it in these fields before storing the database, right? So that's what it's going to do. And then after storing it, now if you query the table, convert it to the pandas data frame, and then get the first data, and then you can see that it returns the data that is stored in the database with the vector, which you can see it transform this into embedding. That's why we have these numbers, right? And the other fields are intact. So after that, you can just try it out where you have the table, and then you can just ask a questions, right? Send a question in, and then it's going to check the vector database, and then it's able to get the data that's similar to the query, and then send it back to you. So if I run this now, it's going to check data that is similar to this query, and it's going to return. So I ask, what is the process for opening a bank account? So this is the instruction that is similar. I would like to open an account. So you see, I need to open an account. How can I do it? So it checks the data that's similar to this. Let's ask, my card is not working. So let's see what is going to return. I got to activate the card. Could I get some help? You see, so it gets similar data, right? So based on this query that's coming, yeah. So that's how this works. So now we are successfully be able to store data in from a CSV into the vector database, and we're able to query it successfully, and then we transform in this part. I'm searching the query, the questions, like the query, limiting it to 5, and then transforming it to a pandas data frame using the schema. That's why it's returning a list of pandas instance and pedantic instance, model instance, right? So we are done testing, everything is working. So now I have to, since this is returning a list of pedantic instance, I want it to return me a list of dictionaries, right, without this vector in each of the fields. So that's why I'm creating this transform functions to be able to, like, it's going to get the role, look through each of them, and only pull out the instruction, category, intent, respond, and tag, right? So that's what this function does, right? So I can just transform it, so you can see it just transform the data. All right, after that, the next thing now, all these parts we have not interacted with the LM model except the part of the embedding, right? So we have not like sent any query to or prompt to our LM model. So this is the part where we have to like configure our LM. So we have the system prompt. The system prompt is you telling LM how to behave. So you can tell it be a math teacher, or you can tell it be a chatbot, or you can tell it be a game, maybe a puzzle game, whatsoever, right? So you're like telling LM, this is what we expect you to be. So when a question comes in, you know how to behave, right? So that's why I created this comprehensive system prompt to tell it to that you're operational friendly and knowledgeable customer service representative for Anis Bank, a retail banking, right? So this is just my name, right? So retail banking institution, our goal is to do this. So I give it all the instructions I need in the prompt, give it some guidelines, and then give it like example of how it should respond to the user in a friendly manner. So once I create a system prompt, then I can go ahead to like get the inputs using the Python inputs, and then write the logic to break the loop. Because I'm doing a while loop, so it's going to loop forever, right? Until I break it. And then so once all that is done, so if the message that is coming it is not exist, then it's going to keep going. So it's going to make a request to the vector database. Remember, I still have a reference to the query, and then get the most relevant data, right? 20 of them, transform it to a Python list of dictionary, and then use it to talk to the Llama 3.2 model, right? And specifying that I want it to be streaming, so that it's going to be giving me the data response in chunks. And then I'm going to I'm passing in the system prompts which I created earlier, and then I'm passing in the context. So I make a query to the vector database to get the context, and then pass it here. And then this is actually the user message, and the LM is going to know how to respond since I've given it who it's supposed to be, and also the context, that's the knowledge base, and then the user prompts. So that's how it works. And so with all this, if you run it now, it's going to like respond in the manner we want it to respond. So just like I showed you earlier. So if I say I can't log in, let's say I can't log in, and see how smart it's going to be to tell us, so I'm sorry to hear that you're having trouble logging in. Can you please tell me a bit more about what happened? What was the error? Or I want to remind you that we don't store password in plain text. If you forgot your password, the best way. So it's already anticipating that probably you forgot your password, and it's telling you to try to forget password. So you see, the LM is not like just out of the blue moon, like trying to get a internet-wide data. Is totally responding based on the knowledge base that is available here, right? And it's creative, very creative enough to give like reasonable answers. So that's it. So this is like a chatbot I created using the rack system, right? So yeah, now this has been long. Yeah, thanks for watching.